So the vision for EventScouts is basically to build the home for lists, the home for user-generated lists containing events, activities, places, things to do, things that happen. But actually, it's a database. It's the world's first blockchain-based, user-owned event and activity database. That's how we call it. But you can also say it's a decentralized social network, but focused on events and activities. But more specifically, like if we look at like where the information, the data for events and activities is right now, it's on hundreds of thousands of different websites, apps, blogs. If you want to find something touristy, you might go to TripAdvisor. You know, they list all the important things for tourists. But if you want to find like a football match in that town, you have to go to a different app, maybe BBC or ESPN. If you want to find a concert, you go to a different application right now. So the information, the data is on different centralized databases. What we want to do is we want to bring this to a shared database, the blockchain. But more specifically, that's the kind of the big picture. But more specifically, we want to create a home for lists. And if you go to Google and you type like best things to do in London, or new restaurants opening in London, or fun activities to do on a rainy weekend in London, right? The results, if you click on them, they are usually coming in the format of lists. You know, the lists, they already exist, and there are like hundreds of thousands, if not, there are millions of lists out there already, depending on what kind of keywords you use, depending on what kind of location. But there are hundreds of millions of lists out there, but there is no native home for this list. There is no big tech player that has kind of like managed to create this home for lists. So for the end user, it's a problem because you can't easily save all these lists in one place. They are not connected to each other. So you can't get like notifications easily if there is new content, right? So you can subscribe to like the newsletter of that blog or something like that. But imagine a world in which there is something like a home for lists, and you can save and subscribe to all the important lists. Doesn't matter if it's politics, music, restaurants, whatever this might be. It can be a list of places, a list of upcoming events, a list of activities to do on a rainy weekend or on a sunny weekend. You know, it doesn't matter, right? There's a content creator, it's a social network. Everybody can create. It's open for everybody, and I can just save and subscribe to other people's lists and carry the lists with me in the pocket and get notifications whenever there is new content, whenever there is relevant content, whenever the content creator is updating, is adding a new card. I get a notification, right? Imagine the vision of having such a home to bring all this information together. So the vision is actually like very, very big, but it's untested. And that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to test, to build the vision of a user-generated home for lists. But the interesting part is actually the Web3 part, because we want to make creators the true owners of their creation. So the way we do it is we have the lists. Let's imagine it's a list of restaurants in London, you know, like maybe new openings or just new discoveries. In the middle of that list, there is an advertising banner. That's an NFT. You can buy it, sell it, you can lease it out to another user, to a company, and generate money. But this means for the end user, for any kind of user that is going to discover the list, they can invest in the future success of another user's content. So if I believe that list of cool restaurants that somebody has created and is going to update, to maintain, he's always constantly adding like new restaurants that he finds, or new restaurants that's opening, right? If he's going to find a lot of subscribers who are signing up and like they constantly like check the list or get the information, right? Then this advertising banner is going to be in demand, maybe in a half a year or 1 year, right? So I can already participate in the future revenue of that, because if the ad banner is just like $1 or $2, it might be like worth like $100 like half a year later, right? So in a year I can either sell it or I can just collect the parts of the revenue. So the smart contract is redistributing this money to the not only to the owner of the ad banner, to the new owner of the ad banner, also to the content creator itself, to everybody who was part of that list. Those can be different users. You know, you can create a list that like with content from multiple different users. Everything is interconnected with it. So the smart contract is going to redistribute the money to the different content creators, to the ad banner owner, to the previous ad banner owner, and obviously to other stakeholders in the ecosystem. So we really imagine that this is like a decentralized social network on which users can own the content. They can participate in the future revenue of other users and of the ecosystem in itself, and doing that, actually like incentivizing content creation, incentivizing scouting. That's why we call like kind of event scouts or list scouts, like in the future. So we really think like we have like an innovative concept that might has the possibility to gain some momentum at some point once users realize that they actually can earn money speculating or investing in the future success while creating the home for lists, something that doesn't exist yet, but that I'm convinced has a huge potential in the future. That's basically EventScouts in a nutshell.